Mauricio Pochettino watches Tottenham throw lead away in classic Spursy defeat as Watford's rocketmen continues surge. The Elton John Stand was rocking at the final whistle. And there, fittingly, was the great man himself as Watford's most famous fan clapped and cheered at the end of an incredible day at Vicarage Road. "We came here expecting one of the two early pace-setters to lose their 100% record, but it seemed highly unlikely that it would be Tottenham who would be the team to suffer defeat." It was, it has to be said, very Spursy in the way that Mauricio Pochettino's men threw away the lead and allowed themselves to be bullied by Watford and their talisman Troy Deeney. It was last season that Deeney accused Arsenal of lacking cojones, but this time it was Tottenham who crumbled as they lost to Watford in the league for the first time in 31 years. Watford were terrific. It is the first time they have won their first 4 Premier League games, and now they find themselves joint top with Chelsea and Liverpool. They had more fight and desire than Tottenham, and perhaps even more worrying was Harry Kane, as he looked as if he had lead in his boots, unable to summon up any power or pace. Kane missed a sitter of a chance with 5 minutes left to at least salvage a point for Tottenham, but headed over from close range. But Kane, who has barely had a rest since the World Cup, struggled throughout, and if ever there was a game when perhaps the lack of summer signings was exposed, then it was this one. After the flying start with 3 straight wins, Tottenham needed something different to freshen it up from the bench, and yet Pochettino had nothing in reserve. Pochettino was fuming afterwards, struggling to contain his anger at his players for ignoring his pre-match warnings on the back of victory at Manchester United that they must keep their concentration and focus. Well, they lost their way at Vicarage Road and took their eye off the ball in a bizarre game which was, as Pochettino complained, like a preseason friendly in the first half and then came alive after the restart. You just assumed after Tottenham went ahead after 53 minutes that Pochettino's men would go on to win the game. Delali's chip into the Watford box created uncertainty. Watford defender Christian Kabasele made it worse with a weak header, and then Tottenham forward Lucas Moore's cross deflected in off Abdoulaye Doucouré for a known goal. But Watford look a different team now under Javi Gracia. In fact, they look a different proposition as they are tougher, more determined, and no longer appear to have a soft center. Watford turned up the heat. Deeney waved his teammates forward, and it looked like Tottenham's defense were intimidated by the home side's physical power and strength. Deeney scared Tottenham, out-miscleaned Davinson Sanchez on the right, putting over a cross which Toby Alderweireld headed against his own post. Then Watford drew level after 69 minutes. Moussa Dembele was booked for a foul on Will Hughes. Watford's dead ball specialist Jose Holbas whipped in a brilliant free kick. Deeney muscled himself some space, lost Jan Vertonghen, and then glanced home into the bottom corner. Vicarage Road came alive, and Watford were not finished there. Deeney is only the 4th Watford player to reach 100 goals after Tommy Barnett, Ross Jenkins and Luther Blissett to firmly establish himself as a Watford legend. Tottenham looked nervous in defence. Watford could smell blood, and they went ahead after 76 minutes. Holbas put over another terrific set-piece. Craig Cathcart lost Dembele in the box and headed powerfully home for his first goal since January 2016. The whole place erupted. The TV cameras panned to Sir Elton John, and Watford's honorary life president lapped it all up as he punched the air. Kane missed a chance right at the end as Tottenham threw on Fernando Llorente, Danny Rose and Harry Winks, but none of them can be considered game-changers. Watford proved they have got plenty of heart, and yet Tottenham, on this showing at least, look as if they do not have enough strength and depth to last the distance in a title race.